I thought I've understood what is management, what is leadership, and started applying those theories in practice, and I realized they are not working. Made a lot of mistakes. Some learnings, I would say, from those mistakes. Some of the top ones would be, it starts with okay, so it starts with my own understanding of myself, the self-awareness. Yeah. It translates, or it extends to how well am I then able to understand people, understand drivers, motivations, individuals, and everyone is selfish deep down inside, and that's okay. There is no problem with that. The the Everyone is in a journey. It's not point in time. We are evolving. We are changing. Mistakes or things, when we say wrong people or wrong person, there is nothing which is called wrong person or wrong employee. It's always, this is my biggest lesson, it is always a hiring mistake.
Welcome to Grow Think Tank. This is the one and only place where you will get insight from the founders and the CEOs of the fastest growing privately held companies. I am the host. My name is Gene Hammett. I help leaders and their teams navigate the defining moments of their growth. Are you ready to grow?
Today we talk about leadership lessons in running a successful SaaS company. We have with us a very special guest. He is the CEO of Contify. Contify is a competitive market intelligence platform. They have 350 employees. They were on the on the SaaS list of fastest growing SaaS companies in the market last year. And Mohit Bhakuni is really an incredible leader. He's got a lot of self-awareness. We actually talk about his way of connecting to a self-awareness. I think you'll be surprised how simple it is, but also why people aren't willing to do it might come up, because it seems like a lot of extra work, but it will help you be a better leader. Mohit and I talk about what he learned in his journey that he didn't learn in an MBA or reading the most popular management books of the day, but how you want to approach leadership if you want to grow your company. My name is Gene Hammett. I'm an executive coach. I've been doing this since 2012 as my sole income, helping people grow their businesses and helping CEOs become the next version of themselves as they face new opportunities. We typically work with fast growth companies, but you don't have to be on one of the Inc. Or SaaS level companies to work with us, but you do have to want to grow and evolve. And we also do leadership development, where we're helping you create leadership at all levels of the company. And if you have a big opportunity on the horizon and you want to make sure that everyone's aligned together, you want to have a conversation with me, because I've got a lot of tools I can give you. And I promise to absolutely give you as much value as I can in a conversation, because I believe in relationships. I believe in developing and giving before we actually can work together. I want to see where you are. I want to see if you're ready to evolve. And if you're curious about what that looks like, all you have to do is send me an email, gene@genehammett.com, and I will follow up with you. But the real key here is it's free. I'm not going to sales pitch you. It's not a discovery call in disguise. It truly is about, helping you and serving you, creating a plan and prioritizing it, and realizing what the blind spots are. They're getting in the way of your own growth and the company growth. And so schedule that meeting with me, gene@genehammett.com. Now here's the interview with Mohit. Mohit, how are you?
Very good, Gene. How are you?
I am fantastic. We're wrapping up the end of the year. So we're recording this in late December, right before Christmas, but it probably won't come out until 2025. Before we dive into our core topic today on the leadership lessons of running a SaaS company, can you share with us, what is your company? What are you guys doing? And the company is Contify.
Yes, exactly. Contify starts with content. The premises was there is a lot of information and content scattered all over internet in different places, and map it with business, how business can benefit from it. So what we do, whatever product is, that all companies operate in a market environment, competitive environment, but there is no softwares which can help them understand what is changing in their competitive environment and competitive landscape. So it's a competitive and market intelligence software, a platform where companies say, these are the direct competitors, these are the customers, this is my industry segment. I need to know only the important strategic updates and changes what are happening in this environment.
Where do you think this is going over the next 3 years? I mean, I don't know if AI is a part of your plan and whatnot, but I'm just curious about the market industry that you're in over the next 3 years.
Absolutely. AI has, especially AI has been there since the beginning. Without AI, we could not have built this software. But what has changed with Gen AI is that now the AI is intelligent enough to understand human language. The very important thing is a context. When we say a word, a sentence, in what context is it said? This part was missing in the traditional AI and machine learning that we used to do. So that has fundamentally changed what we offer. And next 3 years will be a more maturity in the use cases that are solved by the software in an automated manner. So more and more applications of Gen AI will be available, and it's just a starting. In my head, it's the technology space is pre-internet, post-internet. The things changed. And pre-Gen AI and post-Gen AI, things have changed significantly. So it's a new world that we have started living in.
I know this is a touchy subject, but I'm just kind of curious. You guys have embraced AI from to building the foundation of your business. And now that we have generative AI and it's going to continue to evolve at a pace faster than we can all imagine, I think. But is this going to allow you to scale faster with the same number of employees? Or do you see a future where you're going to need less employees?
Same and more number of employees. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So the roles will change. The roles will change is extremely important. Yeah. So the accountants using calculators, to the accountants using spreadsheets, to the accountants using softwares, their efficiency, what they are able to achieve in certain amount of time has changed, but the core foundations of what accounting is still remains the same. The application of understanding of business, what we are doing, who we are serving, what problem are we solving, the expectations will keep changing. And that's why the same number of the same employee might not be able to evolve. That's the most important part. Yeah. So the numbers will grow. And my coaching and my leadership and my guidance with the entire team is that we need to relearn. This is a new space that we are operating now. And that's what we are trying internally.
And my personal experience with AI is those that aren't using it to at least help with operational excellence and operational efficiencies are going to be left behind. But you have probably using it operationally, but also within your product. So you've got the need to have people with those talents.
It is absolutely necessary, yes. And still there are people who do their job, but the changes, this is the most important part. How flexible you are to change, how you are absorbing and adopting the new methods of doing things. Some people do it fast, some takes time, and some don't do it. So some break, some slow down, and some moves really fast.
Let's dive into the people side of scaling your business. You guys have grown fast, over 350 employees. Like I'm sure there's some details that we could go through, but what I'm really curious about are the core leadership lessons or even principles that guide you to be able to get to this level of company. When you reflect back on that, what do you think are the top principles and lessons?
Yeah. We can talk the whole day only about this point itself. Yeah. So I should start with when we started, I was a bit amateur in terms of by reading books. I thought I've understood what is management, what is leadership, and started applying those theories in practice, and I realized they are not working. Made a lot of mistakes. Some learnings, I would say, from those mistakes. Some of the top ones would be, it starts with my own understanding of myself, the self-awareness. Yeah. It translates or it extends to how well am I then able to understand people, understand drivers, motivations, individuals, and everyone is selfish deep down inside, and that's okay. There's no problem with that. Everyone is in a journey. It's not point in time. We are evolving. We are changing. Mistakes or things, when we say wrong people or wrong person, there is nothing which is called wrong person or wrong employee. It's always, this is my biggest lesson, it is always a hiring mistake. Now, and it's a hiring mistake because you have not understood one of these three things. One is you have not either understood deeply what is the requirement, what needs to be done. what skills are required to do those things, and how to evaluate those skills. When we are not able to match these things, we usually end up somebody who's put into a role or expectations which is not aligned properly, and you end up basically blaming or pointing and saying that this was the wrong person. He should have done it this. She should have done it that way. Yeah? So it's all about a lot about reflection, and figuring out where some individual, which is a bag of energy, is able to deliver and perform the best. Yeah, and mapping it with what needs to be done.
I want to go back to unpack some of the things you just said there. You talked about reading books and management, kind of the things you learned from there wasn't working. I saw that you went to INSEAD MBA many years ago. And I think a lot of times people expect to learn all the skills that it takes to run a business through undergraduate and MBA, but it never seems to work that way. You have to have real life experience, and the value of that can't be discounted. And so is there a mistake that kind of stands out, something you read that you thought was, common knowledge and said in these books that just didn't work in practicality of running your business?
Yeah, absolutely. So first, I'll tell something very good, which I learned at the MBA school at INSEAD specifically. They specialized. So INSEAD was focusing on entrepreneurship. So a lot of case studies that we did was for small businesses trying to survive. And the protagonist was sitting in the class. So after the case study, when we used to give a lot of general suggestions and solutions, the protagonist used to come and say, no, this is not how it worked. That's how I solved the problem, and that's how I struggled. So this was very humbling experience during the INSEAD year, INSEAD MBA. And that's one of the reasons I did not start a company immediately after my MBA. I waited for 4 years to actually have some foundational skills in place before we can start a company. Yeah, so that was a very good learning. Now, the big learning was I was more aware of things that I did not know, that I knew that I was not ready. The awareness of what you don't know became very clear during that experience, during that MBA, I would say. Now, the typical mistakes, what I've seen is there are a lot of books that I was reading. I still read. A lot of the books that I read, they talk about management, businesses, organizations as a way to do it without adding a lot of context around it. Certain things work in certain situations. It's not a formula that you can use and apply, a playbook that you can apply and all businesses will work fine. So the books, especially written by non-practitioners, are the ones where it's a lot of theoretical, with a lot of conviction, with a lot of data. Yeah. But what I realize is that the context of where you are operating, your people, your customers, your strengths, your weaknesses, these are very deep and subjective, which has to be incorporated in your decision making, in your strategy.
Mohit's been talking about management, and I really want to reflect on a distinction here. There's managing the work and there's leading the people. I've been doing this for more than a decade, and I really want to help you understand this, that a lot of people confuse those two. Managing the work is about the KPIs and about what's next and about the problems and about how do we grow the product, or maybe it's marketing or sales. It's the actual work. Leading the person is helping them get the confidence to make those decisions, helping them, figure out what their blind spots are, helping them figure out where they want to grow, whether it be skills or maybe it's a mindset shift as they evolve into this next level. And when you understand that those things are different, you want to spend more of your time leading people as you grow and evolve a company. My bet is Mohit spends a lot more time leading the people than actually doing the work or managing the work. And so that is the reason why he is considered a great leader and the company is so successful as it is today. Back to the interview with Mohit. Appreciate the detail there. Mohit, you had mentioned self-awareness as one of the core things that have helped you be where you are today. And I'll be honest with you, this is hard for a lot of people. And sometimes it has been hard for me. Like I get caught up in my own issues. There's blind spots. Is there a specific technique or something you do to help you create self-awareness, or maybe you have a coach, or what is it for you?
Oh, wow, that's a good question. I do have a coach. I have always been a learner. I always look and let me get something to show you. Just 1 second, yeah?
While he's coming back with whatever he's getting. Coaching
I
is one of those things that I think that a lot of people feel like it's something they shouldn't have because it makes it because they have a weakness. But I find that, I have my own coaches. I've been a coach for more than 12 years. It really makes me better and sharper. So what were you going to share with us, Mohit?
This is my journal.
Mm,
This is 19th December today morning, 8:45 a.m. in a coffee shop. Where what are we trying to achieve? Yesterday, the things that I did, which were the right things, I should do more of those things.
yeah.
And things that I should not have invested or should not have got involved or should not have done just a day before, the self-reflection. And then going back and reading through them and marking some highlights notes. Oh, I'm still doing that mistake. Stop doing it. This is not how it's rewiring and reflection on how you are living your life, how you're living your day is, I think, the daily journaling. And if I may show you this library that I have on the top right corner, these are all my journals. I've been writing them since, I think, my college days. And and this is, I think, the one of the biggest source for me to have a state of mind,
Yeah.
where I'm aware of what am I doing, where am I going.
I want to put a spotlight on one little element of that. I think the journaling is really good. I do that in different ways. I use an iPad because I got tired of having so many journals.
Yes.
But you go back and actually look at it. I think that's such a smart way to make sure that you can see the patterns.
Mhm.
You can and do this. Is there anything that stands out as something that you realize from looking back at these journals that have created the opportunity for you to be the leader that you are today?
I would say it's a collection of many small things. For
Mm,
example, when a lot of people are not able to achieve what they really want to achieve because of the self goals that they have done, which is they have made statements, taken decisions which are self damaging. Yeah.
yeah.
And then many times it happens when you say things without thinking them through, especially when you are a leader. So so I keep building formulas like, okay, this is the formula to, and I would say my own personal formula, and one formula that I've worked on it for a long time to make it work is it's the formula is stop. Stop means that as soon as I feel the blood is rushing to my head, that's the first signal, is that I need to first stop, take a breath, take a deep breath. That's the most important thing. And then go to an objective. What do you want to achieve from this transaction? And then last is P is ask a question, piercing question. So this is not easy. It's very easy to say, but when in the rush of things, when you are having those kind of moments, discussions, you tend to forget. And anytime that you do, my journal helps me remind and just reflect on, okay, I have missed on applying this formula. Please be careful next time. And I'm more aware of myself. As it's a small example. So you're always kind of building a picture, a painting of who Mohit is, and there is a define and detailing that is happening for different parts. So these journaling and these practices define those fine tuning of what I'm building, which is a Mohit.
Mohit talked about the advantages of having a coach, what he got from it, about the patterns, and about what has the impact it's made on his business and making that investment. And I'm not going to try to convince you to be a coach, but if you don't have someone that you can talk to about the deepest issues, that you can even, maybe rant a little bit about some of the frustrations and challenges, it's lonely out there. And a coach can be that for you. I know for me, the one reason why I became a coach and the one thing I think people keep coming back to me is because they can be 80% sure about what's next for them. But if we can have a conversation and they're all of a sudden 100% sure and they go execute on that and they are really clear about what they want to do and how they show up, they will get more out of it faster. And that is one advantage to having a coach. So just let that sink in. If there's any way I can help you, make sure you let me know. Back to the interview with Mohit. Mohit, you mentioned having a coach, and I'm going to be very clear with the audience. You're not one of my clients. I'm not trying to make this a testimonial or anything. But when you combine the journaling with your coaching experience, I can imagine you do have a deeper sense of self-awareness than your peers. Would you, what is the big insight you've had around having a coach so many years of building this business?
Yes. Many times we feel that the situation that we are in is very unique to ourselves. And it's sometimes very humbling that you're not unique. What you are doing, thousands of people have done that, have gone through that. And the coach is sometimes at a position where they can see the patterns. And
Mm,
they can also see what has usually worked, what has not worked, and put that in your context, because they on one-on-one coaching, they understand you. And this is the context I was talking about. Books won't just solve it because the contexts are different. So what part of the pattern matches the context where you are in right now? The coach, a good coach, is able to do that mapping in a very effective way.
I know that we're talking about the leadership lessons of running a successful SaaS company, and you've got this coach. Would you say that you're using coaching skills inside your leadership of the team that you have?
Say that again. Ask that
Are
question
you
again.
using your own coaching skills, like whatever you learned from the experience with your coach? Are you applying, you're putting on your coach hat with your executive team and the people that report to you?
Yes, exactly. As an example, the formula I was talking about, the P, last P of the stop formula is question, piercing question. So rather than telling me, my coach asks questions, and that's how they help me find the answer internally inside. So I try not to tell my leadership, this is what you should do. I would like them to take the decision by asking them the right question. Now I'm building those things because my coach is doing it in a similar manner.
I bring that out because I think a lot of CEOs want to get the job done. And the quickest way to get it done is to tell someone how to do it, or maybe do it yourself. But at a certain point in scaling your business, I mean, you have 350 employees. If you thought that way now, you would be the bottleneck of the company.
Absolutely.
Everything would stop because you need to review it. You need to make the decision. You need to tell people how to do it. You need to build all the SOPs, but that's not the way you're running your business. You're empowering the people around you to make those decisions. We've been talking about the lessons of leadership, of building a successful SaaS. Is there anything we've left out that you feel like is really important to this conversation?
Absolutely. Building people. I have deliberately chosen the route of being bootstrapped just because I want to give it time. And it takes time for some people to grow to that new expectation, new roles. They, even with the right coaching, right guidance, right setting the right expectations, there are times when you have to let person grow to that role. And for that, very important thing, you have to let them make mistakes, because the learning that your leadership will develop in deeper understanding of the whole organization and the customer and the market that we are operating, the deeper the sometimes the mistakes, let them learn more, and you as the leader have to be fully aware that you are letting this person make a mistake so that the leadership is developed. It's the same like letting your kids fall so that they know how to walk properly.
Yeah. And having
It's
the
difficult.
patience to let them fall, and
Exactly.
eventually they'll get it, because they do.
And they find balance, which is how much time to give
Yeah.
and when to step in. It's a constant battle, I think. This, there will never be an answer like black or white. It will always be gray. We will always take calls. And there are certain strategic, important, critical bottlenecks where you might not be able to take those calls. But there are areas where you can take that, okay, we can have to afford, we can afford these things.
Mohit, thank you for sharing your lessons learned from growing a successful SaaS company. And I really feel so empowered and thrilled that you have been here to share your wisdom on the podcast.
You're most welcome. Jane, thank you.
Wow, what a great interview. And he's talked about at the very end of that about the mistakes that he's made inside of leadership, and letting people make mistakes is a real critical piece to being a strong leader and empowering people. You can't micromanage them. You can't just hover over them all the time. You have to be willing to empower them enough, let them make mistakes, and let them fix their own problems. And that's a really important aspect of leadership that a lot of people don't understand and don't apply. We've had a great conversation today. Hopefully it was valuable to you. Thank Mohit for being here and sharing his insights. When you think of growth and you think of leadership, think of Growth Think Tank. As always, lead with courage. We'll see you next time.